You've probably heard the phrase, "it takes one to know one," but how did that sentiment lead to the creation of one of America's largest mansions? Hi everyone, Ken here. Welcome to this house. In 1849, John McCall was born into a well-to-do New York family. Shortly after graduating from college, he began work as a bookkeeper for an insurance agency. With his scrupulous eye for details, he excelled at his job, and in no time at all, word got out about his outstanding work. The New York State Insurance Department, which was responsible for overseeing adherence to New York's insurance regulations, named him a clerk in 1870. From here, he quickly rose through the ranks as he used his skill set to root out fraud. After 6 short years, he was appointed to the position of deputy superintendent, where he began making waves in the insurance industry. Not only had he been tediously combing through insurance companies' books, he had been building a shocking case. In 1876, he went head-on against more than 30 insurance companies, proving their fraud was intentional, and resulting in not only getting each of the companies permanently banned from doing business in New York, but it also led to several high-ranking company executives finding themselves behind bars. Now viewed as an honest man set on rooting out corruption and dominating the headlines of the day, New York politicians raced to be seen with him in public. The then governor and future president, Grover Cleveland, even made a point to hold a special conference in which he appointed John as the state superintendent of insurance. John served in this position for only 3 years, declining a reappointment to venture into the private sector. By 1892, following the arrest of the New York Life Insurance Company's president, John threw his hat in the ring and was elected as the company's new president. His name was so well known and his influence so strong that every major insurance company wanted to be affiliated with him. He took seats on the boards of several major insurance companies, which, this act by itself alone, created favorable optics for each company attempting to earn the public's trust. Now that he had rooted out corruption in the industry and been granted high-paying positions, he set out to build his dream house. He purchased a large lot in West Long Branch, New Jersey, and began construction on a 52-room mansion. From the roadside, the property he named Shadowlawn could be seen towering over the fields. Its limestone facade was wrapped in porticos with verandas jutting out from all sides. Exploring the grounds further, the Beaux-Arts-style carriage house provided year-round shelter for his farm animals, as well as a 100-foot water tower. Let's now make our way back towards the main house, ascending the stairs until we enter its front doors below the 2-story tempietto. In rare form for the time, the interior has been designed to be open concept, with no walls separating the reception room from the Great Hall. The Great Hall rises 3 stories below a 100-foot-long rounded skylight. This grandiose space was meant to be the heart of the home, as John intended to host world leaders and presidents as guests. The grand staircase, nearly 20 feet wide, will take us below a 2-story arch to the stair landing. As we look back from the top, we can see the front door overshadowed by the mezzanine. There are no more known photos beyond this point, so let's return downstairs and continue exploring the public rooms. First, we will find the drawing room, finished out with painted millwork in warm ivory tones and accented by green silk wallpaper. From here, we will meander through the opening, pushing back velvet curtains to reveal the dining room. If you have been looking at this house and wondering how anyone could afford it with such a short work history in the private sector, well, you aren't alone. John was able to enjoy the house for 2 short years before the Armstrong investigation in 1905 painted him as a mastermind behind criminal insurance fraud. Not only did he admit to bribing elected officials, but he had paid federal agents to look the other way while he fixed the books of several companies to illegally embezzle money. While he had made a career of rooting out fraud, it turned out that he had committed more insurance fraud than the nation had ever seen before. With no plans to go to prison, he drank himself to the grave, passing away in 1906, just a few short months after the investigation had been opened on him. Nonetheless, Shadowlawn survived and became the envy of many wealthy families. It continuously passed hands, going from private residence to country club and back to private residence several times. By 1916, the mansion was owned by a Mr. Greenhunt, who intended for Shadowlawn to be used as the White House by the Sea. He invited President Woodrow Wilson to celebrate his renomination on the property, drawing crowds of thousands of attendees. The entire mansion was decorated with American flags and embroidered bunts as journalists were invited to photograph the event and document this moment in history. In 1918, Greenhunt passed away, and Shadowlawn was again sold, this time to Hubert Parson, the president of F.W. Woolworth, which was one of the world's largest retail chains. Unfortunately, the house as we have come to know it did not last long after that. In 1927, a fire gripped the mansion, but not all was lost. Parson set a new budget for rebuilding Shadowlawn at $10 million, the modern equivalent of about $177 million. He then hired famed Gilded Age architects Horace Trumbauer and Julian Abel to double the size of the original mansion while salvaging what they could to be reworked into the new plans. From the ashes, Shadowlawn had been reborn with more than 100 rooms, and though it had lost its flamboyant flair, it had gained a refined dignity. While not all of its interiors were able to be saved, the Great Hall was renovated and given new life. Over time, it was eventually acquired by Monmouth University, where students and visitors alike can still enjoy a nod to Shadowlawn's original design. What did you think about this video? Did you have a favorite room or feature? Let me know down below in the comments section, and while you're there, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.